Hey, it's Steph from Happy Place to Grow. I'm here at school. It's April 28th, and it is my last remote workday of the 2021 school year. Wow, it's hard to believe, but our school district will be going to a 5-day a week school week, which is normal, but not for us for a while. Now, we did complete one whole week before last. So we did have one 5-day week. We had some schools that had some workshops scheduled for these remote days. So we had to take 2 of the weeks in April and continue to do our remote Wednesday schedule. But in the month of May, we're going totally 5 days a week. So I told you that I would keep you posted on that. When we get started, I will let you know how the students do and how I do with that. Now, today I'm spending my day doing some prep. Yeah, the first thing I'm prepping for is some conferences. I have a few students that are working well below or below grade level, and I'm taking this day to meet with those parents and discuss some options, some strategies, and just go over some things that some changes, some growth, some struggles. And so one thing that I have pulled is my students' spirals. I'm going to hold this backwards, but and I shared this with you at the beginning of the year, how I was going to collect their data on math, reading, writing, spelling, and even behavior, and just collect it in this one place. So I always pull these so I can share any current information with parents. So I've pulled a few spirals. I'm not meeting with all of my students' parents, but just a few. And the one thing I am really wanting to focus their attention on is where their child is reading at present. So a few of my students that I'm going to be meeting with their parents, they're in a level, this is a level 8, and they need to be reading this type of book or something like this, or a mini chapter book. So I want to show them, where their student is presently reading and then where they actually really need to be, because sometimes parents are so excited because their child is reading and the books that they bring home are leveled so that the child can read them pretty well. And they may get a false picture because if their child can actually read that book, they may think, oh, they're doing pretty well. But if you bring that comparison text where they should be, and so for our first graders, they have to be at level I or J to be, to be strong and successful in 2nd grade. And so this book is a level I, and then I pulled this too, just so they could see, what a level J looks like. Because sometimes, like I said, parents are thinking, oh, my child's doing pretty well. They're able to read the books that you're sending home, Mrs. Davis. However, they may not understand fully what grade level reading looks like. So I really want to bring that to their attention. And, for some of those conversations, we might be talking about retention, which is a really tough subject, or even the option of summer school. Our state is offering a 6-week summer school opportunity. So for many of the students that I'm meeting with their parents today, I will be suggesting that they for sure sign up for some time in summer school. It's optional, but for some of them, it's going to be necessary to keep that growth going and be able to be on track next school year. So I'm prepping for those conferences. I'm also in a sea of, you can't see, but I'm in a sea of piles. And what I decided to do on the way home yesterday, I was just feeling overwhelmed. And I know in the month of May, you know, it's so easy to feel overwhelmed because you've got assessments, you've got awards coming up, you've got special activities, so many things, and so little time. So I was thinking of all of the assessments that I was going to have to work through in the next couple of weeks, because our last day is May, the very last Friday in May, right before Memorial Day, which looks like the 28th. I've got a calendar right here. I'm cheating. I've got a calendar. But anyhow, I was thinking about, you know, trying to fit in my iReady diagnostics for math and reading, spelling inventory, running records, math assessments, just different little checks that I need to do on my students to make sure that their skills are where I think they are, and I can have that data to show, yes, this is really what they're doing at the end of first grade. I had this large calendar. My husband owns an insurance agency, and we were cleaning it up, and there was this giant calendar, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to throw that away. I'm just not going to get rid of it. I can use it for something. So I said, I'm going to make a testing calendar. I'm not really sure if I'm going to use this, a large one, but hey, it's available. But what I'm going to do is, as I'm thinking about the first week in May, the second week in May, and the third week in May, which will be the weeks I want to do my assessments. You know, it's a fine dance that you have to do, because I still want to do instruction. I think that every day counts for learning, and you want to give the students as much possible time with in texts and writing and working on math skills and strategies. So I don't want to begin the assessments too soon, but I know I have several to complete with 20 students. So I've got to really work this out. So I'm going to take a few moments here in just a minute to schedule out just exactly what assessments that I want to do and when I want to do them. And I feel like if I just map it out on a calendar, and I'm a hard copy person, like I know I could put it in my Google Calendar digitally, but I love to just see it and have a physical calendar or a physical list. You know, I'm just all about paper and pencil. Hey, I'm old. I've been teaching a long time. Okay. I own it. I own it. So I'm going to work on that. I'm just going to really sit down and just plot this out. And I've got all of my materials gathered too. I've got my leveled text, and I've got to decide which students are going to read which books, where I'm going to start them at. I've got to run copies. I'm going to put all of that. The last time I did running records, I had folders for certain levels with all the copies, and I kind of just broke that up into like maybe 2 or 3 different reading levels so I could just pull quickly. So I'm going to organize all of those assessments, and I've got my information. So as I am assessing my students, I know, you know, what the percentage they need to be on, and I can crunch those numbers for the rate that they should be reading at and the percentage correct. So I've got all that together. I just went to my mailbox and picked up a summative math assessment. So working through this is going to be a big task. Each of the questions, or most of the questions, will be they have to draw or write or explain their thinking. So this is going to take some time. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go through this problem by problem. I'm going to select out certain problems. So in other words, I'm not going to go in order. I'm going to go through and pick certain, they're calling them tasks. So I might take task 1, task 5, task 7, and task 9 and do that on day 1. And I like to do this in small group. So I gather the students. I'll have all of the testing materials in a baggie for them, and probably even sharpen some pencils as well, so that I've got everything ready for them. I'm going to call them either to the carpet or to this area with the table. I'll have some testing cubbies. I have these little privacy cubbies, and I will enclose them in that. And that way I can be right here with them. I'm going to be reading the test questions or the tasks. And then I'm also going to be taking notes. So I did come up with just a simple spreadsheet for each of the assessments I'm doing. This one's for the spelling inventory that I'm going to give, but I've got one for math and one for reading. So I'm going to be taking notes as my students are working. I'm going to take notes about how they are solving problems. I love this math assessment. It's a love-hate relationship. It takes a long time. It's very stressful for first grade students. However, it's a really good indicator of how they solve problems. You can watch them. You can see what tools they pull to use. You can just analyze their thinking as they're doing it. And so if I have a small group of 5 or 6 students, I can just take notes, and say, oh, Johnny used flip chips. He used a whole part mat. He used the right strategy, but got the problem wrong. And I can just take simple notes. I think this is a really great assessment to show mathematical thinking for sure. So I will be getting all of my math materials organized today. I've got my spreadsheets. And one final thing I like to do beside a running record, the math assessment, is a spelling inventory. And I'm just using a simple one, and I'm going to call out these words. It's called the primary spelling inventory, and you call out a list of words. The first time I did it in August, September, I used the first 10 words, and I think what you do with it is if they get so many correct, you can go on to 15, but if they're struggling, you stop at 10. Then I did a mid-year one, December, January, and now I'm going to do an end-of-the-year one. I'm going to do all of the words just to see what their skills are. So the first several on the list are going to be checking for beginning sounds, ending sounds, and short vowels. And then it will go on and indicate if the students are hearing and writing some blends when they write, if they have a silent E knowledge of silent E, long vowel, or what other spelling patterns do they have? What other long vowel patterns do they have? Are they hearing and adding ed, ing? Do they know to drop the E before adding an ing? So I'm going to be working with my students on that final spelling inventory. And then I've got that comparison for the second grade teacher that shows beginning, middle, and end, and how they progressed and how they gained those sounds, or if they struggled and they didn't gain those sounds. And so a strategy can be developed for them to help them progress in the next grade level. So yeah, I've got my work cut out for me. I'm going to eat lunch first, and then I'm going to organize. And I know I'm definitely going to feel better as I put all of these things into place for myself to help me. Definitely, I was thinking about a spreadsheet, because making a list of my students and just knowing, I'm checking them off. Because sometimes if I don't have this handy, I'm like, I know I've done this on the spelling inventory. I've called the same kid on different days and given them the spelling inventory twice. So keeping myself on track is going to be essential. I don't want to waste any moments. So wish me luck on all of this, and I will keep you posted on how the assessment schedule is going. I don't know if you're back in school. I think a lot of people now are at least in a hybrid model. Again, our school district is going to 5 days a week, or we've been out of the hybrid model for several months. We're doing well. Students are moving right along, and they're actually starting to get spring fever. I think they're ready for the end of the year, as well as I think we all are. It's been an interesting ride this year. Good, but interesting. All right, so I've got to get to work. I've got to eat lunch. I've got to get to work. So I will keep you posted on how my assessments are coming along and how I'm juggling. I will also keep you posted on 5 days a week. It's a thing of the past, but now it's again back to normal. Okay, I better get my rest for sure next week. All right, until our next time together, as always, have a good one. I'll see you next time.